Hey guys, so some interesting things happened in 80922 this month. So for the month of June, you're going to want to hang tight and let Trace tell you all about what was going on. So listen up, some interesting information.
If you are looking for information on buying, selling, managing, or renting a home, we'll show you all the tips, tactics, and secrets that will best ensure your success. So let's get started. Hi everybody, my name is Trace with Ashford Realty Group here in Colorado Springs, and real quick we're going to go over the market data for June 2021 for the zip code of 80922. Hey guys, before we get started, I hope everybody had a wonderful weekend and we're able to celebrate 4th of July and the freedom that we all have. Hope everybody was able to celebrate with friends and family and have a fantastic time. To all of our veterans, prior and active duty, and even our local law enforcement and emergency responders, thank you guys so much for all that you guys do and allowing us to be free. So let's get right into the report, guys. The median sales price range for 80922. $417,500. Now, guys, this represents a 25% increase from this time last year. So June of 20 to June of 21, we saw a 25% increase. This is substantial when you're looking at home values. Now, again, median sales price is going to be the average price of the home sold for this month. So, for example, June of 21 in this report. And normally you could expect, 3 to 5% normally is what you would default to. Guys, just as the other months, previous months that we've had, and for several months now, we've been in the 20s to 30s for most part of Colorado Springs. Now, I will say that this is actually a little bit faster paced than what we're seeing for Colorado Springs overall. Colorado Springs overall, we saw a 23.6%. So we're seeing 80922 right now outperform just a little bit on that median sales price range. And I will say I think that's going to be due to some of the new builds that we're seeing in the area for 80922, most specifically the Hannah Ridge for classic homes. And just in comparison, $417,500 for the median sales price for 80922. Now, Colorado Springs overall is going to be was actually $427,000. So it's actually just on pace, just shy, but on pace with Colorado Springs itself. So guys, let's try to identify some trends here and what we can see with previous months and the data. So as you can see, guys, 80922, when you get into dialing down into a particular zip code, you may see a little bit more up and down. This wouldn't represent really that much volatility, more so that we're utilizing, the bar graph's going to show a lot of extreme just on smaller numbers just because we're focusing on one specific zip code. We're not looking at Colorado Springs as a whole. But yes, you can see a little bit of jagged, not really, volatility or anything we need to be concerned with. You will notice that the month of June, the median sales price range was actually lower than it was the previous month. Now, that's after a $40,000 jump just from the month previous. So this isn't that alarming to me just because we had such a huge increase from April to May. So let's look at a broader view and let's look at the 5-year trend, guys. And you can see this, we're pretty much each, previous year to year. So 17 to 18, 18 to 19, 19 to 20, the gap or the margin of increase of median sales price range for a year, representing a year, it stayed within a certain parameter, and then you can see the large jump. This is going to be true of Colorado Springs reports that we've done, the other zip codes that we've done, and this has been true for the last several months for each one of these areas. So this pretty sizable jump here is really just what we're seeing for the past 6 months or more. Now, guys, inventory. This is the buzzword for Colorado Springs. It's been the issue for Colorado Springs, I should say, for some time now. Even prior to COVID, Colorado Springs had a supply and demand issue. We've been in the seller's market for as long as I can remember, and nothing has changed. And it really doesn't look like it's going to change. We just cannot keep up with the demand that is out there. So as far as listings in the month of June, just this past month, 43 listings and 92 sold. Now, this totally looks inverted. We triple checked these numbers with the MLS just to make sure that these were in no way inaccurate. This is spot on, guys. And more than likely what you're going to have, obviously, as we've talked about in previous reports, is you'll have a home that may have been listed in May and then obviously didn't sell until June. But you're going to have that pretty much each month. And that's pretty much going to be for the most part, outside of an extreme amount of listings when you get into spring or summer or as COVID restrictions backed off, outside of those little factors, that's pretty much going to be a baseline. You're going to see that each and every time. So that should eventually balance out. I think what we're seeing right here is going to be the new builds, just as we were seeing in Colorado Springs. And that's where the majority of our inventory is coming from. It's just the new builds they're bringing. And we need them. We need them. We have more people that are wanting homes. They're having to, put themselves up in an apartment, which is not conducive to the family. So everybody's looking for the home here in Colorado Springs because of the inventory and what we're seeing in the inventory. it's a pretty safe bet that this isn't going to flip flop anytime soon. We'd actually see a gradual taper and until we move into a more of a buyer's market or something like that, which right now with the supply and demand, that is just not in the forecast in the next few months. So guys, you can see here on the bar graph, the black bars are going to be represents the home sold, and the white going to be the home listed. Again, you can just see, and this is probably going to be just for the same reasons I explained in June. All these previous months, we're going to have new builds in there, and we're going to have listings from previous months that are sold in the month we're reporting on. So that trend chart right there and just bouncing up, it's a little skewed because of COVID and how COVID paused everything. But here's a 5-year, so even a broader range here. And you can see the listings versus the sales. And this actually inverted a couple more times. Now, if this was Colorado Springs as a whole, this chart would be a little bit more alarming. But right now, just focusing on 80922, when you have new developments that are out there and they're pushing new builds and everything, that's going to skew those numbers because we're only working within, within the 80922 zip code. We're only working with, 40s and 80s and stuff like that. So a margin of 5 is going to look huge on our bar graphs here. So pay attention to the numbers, because if you're looking at this one after looking at Colorado Springs, this could be alarming, but pay attention to the numbers, because just five homes sold over 5 listings can move that chart dramatically. So this chart, I would just say be careful and watch the numbers on this. This really doesn't alarm me because we're so dialed into one specific area as far as the zip code. But right here, nothing alarms me. What we're really just showing is the listings and solds has been a trend that we've seen for some time now. So, guys, I think we all know the answer to this, but we'll get to how we get to the information. Is it a buyer's or seller's market? Well, while I leave you cliffhanging on that, as if you don't know already, let's talk about how we come to that figure. And forgive me if you've seen this from previous reports, but just in case this is your first, let's just make sure you understand that anything below 4 months is going to be a seller's market. So if you have enough inventory, so months supply of inventory, if you have 4 months or less, that's going to be a seller's market. 4 to 6 is going to be a balanced market. And then 7+ will be your seller's or buyer's market rather. You can see right here, we have less than 2 weeks. So 0.47. So less than 2 weeks inventory here for 80922. This is obviously going to put us in the seller's market. So if you currently own a home in 80922, you have an asset that's performing very well. I would venture to say over crypto and Wall Street and everything else, you have an asset that's performing very well. Now, if you're looking that you're having to move in the near future and you don't want to stop the roller coaster ride, we'd probably have you look into property management, see if it's a good fit, not a good fit for everybody, but a great fit for some. That way you can keep that asset working for you. And then, of course, if you're looking to sell, obviously with that appreciation that you're seeing, it's going to be a great day and it's going to be an easy sell for you. There's just going to be some things that you're going to want to do so you maximize your net from the sale of that home. Now, just about anybody can get you, market price or even above market price with the current conditions, but there's going to be some things that you can save thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on if you properly prepare. Plus, it'll eliminate a lot of headache, timing, and stress and everything else. So, guys, seller's market, it's a fantastic time to own a home here in Colorado Springs. Now, if you currently aspire to own a home, hopefully this information will kind of give you a little bit of edge so you don't miss out on that right home. If it's the right home and you're wanting to want it no matter what, this information right here is going to tell you that you're definitely going to have to optimize your offer and you're going to have to be ready on a moment's notice when that home comes up, because we're seeing multiple offer situations. Now, we would hope that this would loosen up a little bit as we get into the summer months. But in case that it doesn't, either way, you're still going to want to have that perfect offer and you want to be prepared. So if you need additional information on that kind of stuff, feel free to look in the description below, regardless of what video platform you're on, or below on our website. We'll have some information there so that you guys can take a look at it and hopefully obtain some information that's going to be extremely helpful for you. So guys, until next time, cheers. Look forward to seeing you again.